On June 4th, 2020, the owner of San Japan made a tweet that some people have called a little bit racist and is getting some negative backlash within the community. Now, this tweet actually does relate pretty interestingly to the Vic Mignogna case, and I'd like to talk to you about how. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Law-Splaining the Interwebs. I'm your host, Nick Rekieta of Rekieta Law, a small law firm in central Minnesota. And on June 4th, 2020, the owner of San Japan, an anime convention in San Antonio, Texas, made this tweet. Quote, "We got tagged asking why we don't bring out people of color in the industry. I'll tell you why. We get tagged and constantly requested to book sexual predators and popular a-hole divas. That's what people want to throw their money, show up by the hundreds with cash to see people of color, then I'll book them. There's a convention in Waco who specifically focuses on people of color fandom, I think from the industry, run by people of color staff, but they don't get the love that they deserve." So I guess he's saying separate, but not so equal, right? Well, anyway, let me, first of all, what are you thinking, you moron? Even if you are relatively racist, why are you tweeting out this thing? Like, look, if you want me to book those people of color, then you better show up with the money to book those people of color. Sorry, fam, that's not a good look. It's an especially bad look considering we've just had a week of rioting over the death of George Floyd going on across the country. And I don't know how you are like this, but let me just say, this guy is part of a group. And I talked very briefly about this group last year. It's a Facebook group called We Run Anime Cons. All right. And it's a group of convention owners and staff that get together to discuss ideas and trade thoughts on how to put on better anime conventions, right? Learn from shows what's successful. You kind of crowdsource it. It's a good idea. But does it stay a good idea? Do they ever stay good ideas? No. What does it become? Gatekeeping, purity testing, all of the same stuff you expect. And who's one of the front runners of that? Last year, a bunch of conventions at the same time dropped Vic Mignogna. Boom. Almost immediately. Some allegations came out. They're not really, as you've seen, they're not really new allegations. They're not a surprise to the industry, but something about this was different. And there are a couple things. Of course, Monica Rial and Jamie Markey came out with these very specific, very suspicious stories about Vic that kind of changed the scope. But the real thing was a lot of anime conventions that had booked Vic dropped him, all within a 5 to 7 day period. They all do this dance. Now, why do a bunch of convention business owners all make the same decision that is negatively impactful economically on their shows? Like, I don't know how to say this, but if you're booking Vic at a show, you are bringing thousands and thousands of dollars in the door. Just in ticket sales alone, you're bringing thousands and thousands of dollars. He's a guaranteed draw everywhere he goes, even still. Even after everything that's been going on for a year, he still consistently brings hundreds and hundreds of people to every show. Little shows get hundreds of people in the door that otherwise weren't coming. He makes conventions money. So it's a poor economic decision to not have him at the show when you were already going to have him. But they all made this decision at the same time. Turns out, at the time, and man, I wish I would have known specifics about this and who was behind it. Turns out, at the time, there was a specific person in the We Run Anime Conventions group sending out messages to people purity testing them on the Vic issue, imposing those gangster-like tactics like, oh man, sure would be a shame if you did blah, 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 blah. And if you actually had the audacity to wrong think, you got summarily excommunicated from the We Run Anime Conventions group, which of course carries its own social implications, right? Oh, this person's show is removed. That show must be a bad show. That must be a bad person, etc., etc., etc. Now, how do you know this, Nick? How do you know? Because I have spoken with convention owners who have been removed from the group over disagreements about Vic last year. And I spoke to one of the convention owners after this happened because they had to laugh and let me know that this is the guy doing the SJW purity testing. It's the guy. So, conventions, don't listen. Look who you're listening to. This is the genius advice you're getting about how to build communities, how to have successful conventions, how to book guests. And it's coming from a guy who won't book black people because he doesn't think they're economically viable, which is, I think, short-sighted just in and of itself, ridiculous. But think about that. This is the guy you're getting your marketing and show running advice from. This is the guy who is threatening you. If you are a convention who receives some of these threats about the Vic situation, or we'll call them friendly, encouraging messages, however you want to word it, send them to me. I would love to share them with the community, especially if they came from this guy who happened to make a very unfortunate tweet. But there you have it, folks. I don't know what else to say. There's a group of anime cons who made the same decision at the same time, and as it turns out, they were taking marching orders on how to be a proper social justice advocate and how to properly respect women. Of course, all ludicrously, and all from a guy who won't book black people at his show. Like, how ridiculous! I can't take it. You guys do what you want with this, you know. I just wanted you to know the story behind this tweet, how it relates to the Vic case, because it's pretty crazy. And this guy's getting some negative feedback. Well, I mean, they all listened to him. They all did. The same shows. They listened to this guy about Vic. Maybe they should reconsider who they listen to. Maybe they should listen to the people who buy their tickets, right? Anyway, hope you guys enjoy. Have a good day. Peace. Peace.